Welcome to Nets on Fire for our 2024-2025 Region 9 Basketball Media Day here on the Fan Sports Network. Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster, and Ben Lindquist. Guys, we ready to go?
Absolutely. We're very ready to go.
Let's do it. Right out of the gate, we've got the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs and Scott Murdoch going into his second year as head coach. And, Coach, if we can start with you, tell us about the offseason coming out of last year, 13-11, third in Region 9. I think you were 7-5 in region play. And give us an overall preview for the Mustangs this year.
Yeah, we're really excited. We have just a lot of talent from top to bottom. We have 10 guys on varsity, just 3 seniors this year, so we're young. We have 7 juniors going to be contributing a lot this year. But overall, we're ready to go. We've had a great offseason, played a lot, practiced together. These guys like each other, at least I think they do. So they've been spending a lot of time together. So we're ready to go, and we're looking forward to a good season.
So, Coach, tell me a little bit about some of the newer faces that we're going to see on the varsity squad this year.
You got our 3 seniors, obviously Drake, Trevor, and JJ, Mac. He'll be back, contributing a lot to us this year. We got Britton Phillips, Travis Murdoch, Trey Leroy, Easton Back, Will Hokinson, and Sans Reed. That's our team. I mean, you're gonna probably hear a lot of those guys' names quite often throughout the season. So we expect everyone to contribute at a high level, and it's gonna be fun to see.
Any changes scheme-wise with the personnel you have from last year? Are you going to be running a lot of the same sets?
Yeah, a lot of the same sets, but we're a lot smaller. We don't have a 6'11" guy down there anymore. So we again, our tempo is going to be pretty high. We like to run the ball a lot. Looking to space the floor. We definitely have more shooting, we feel, this year. So we'll be looking to get up more 3-pointers and just kind of space the floor and see what we can do from there.
Size up the rest of the region for me, Coach. Typical Region 9, but there was a lot of good seniors for a lot of teams that graduated last year.
Yeah, Region 9 I always feel is one of the best regions in the state to play in. This year's going to be no different. You got Pineview, who's got a great starting 5. Dixie's still the reigning champs, so they're always good. Desert Hills, don't sleep on them. Hurricane is definitely improved. So yeah, it's going to be a very tough season in region this year for sure.
Crimson Cliffs Mustangs with us here, Coach Murdoch. Coach, you start the season Thursday against Salem Hills. Tell us about the opening weekend, what to expect out of the gate, and then kind of give me a feel for how you feel like the schedule plays out preseason and region from your perspective.
Yeah, so we got a tough schedule this weekend. Start off with Salem Hills, American Heritage. American Heritage is preseason top 5 in 3A. And then we end up with Springville on Saturday, and they're top 5 in 5A preseason. So it'll be a good chance to see where we are as a team going up against some top talent. We have 11 preseason games. 7 to 8 of our preseason games are against 5A, 6A schools. So we set it up that way to kind of help us and prepare us for region, because that's how region is going to be this year. So we do set up our schedule pretty hard so that we can be prepared for region play.
Coach, tell me a little bit about where the strengths of this team lie. Is it defense? Is it perimeter shooting? Where are you seeing the strengths so far?
I think for sure, I think one of our strengths is shooting. We definitely have guys who can space the floor and shoot this year. I think our defense communication is very, very well. It starts with Trevor on the defensive end. I think we're a lot quicker up and down the floor, both offensively and defensively. So those are the things we're kind of trying to hone in on to kind of get our play to where it needs to be so we can compete at a high level.
We'll circle back for some more questions with Coach Murdoch in just a second, but let's meet the players. Drake Carroll, we've got Trevor Taylor, McKay Lindquist, and JJ Eaton. And Drake, let's start with you, man. Just tell us about the offseason for you and your overall excitement for the upcoming season for the Mustangs.
Yeah, of course. It was a good offseason. We like to say as soon as the last season ends, that's preseason. That's not offseason. The summer's always preseason for us. So everyone went and did their respective club teams. We did the few summer tournaments here and there for Crimson. Those went really well. We're super excited. I love these guys, and we have a lot of good chemistry here. And then so we did a few fall tournaments, and those turned out really well, and we're really excited.
Take me through, because I don't see a lot of the summer league or the fall tournaments. Do you see some other Region 9 teams along the way and match up with them, or do you try to avoid them and wait for the regular season to start up?
There is sometimes we will match up with them, and that gives you kind of a good idea of how it will go. You want to play your hardest, obviously, but you don't want to show too much, as in plays and stuff like that, obviously. So that's kind of just playing, getting a good idea of what the teams will look like. And then there's also that fall league. We decided not to play in that this year, but we still had to focus on ourselves.
What's the chemistry like when you've had your summer breaks where everyone's off playing on club teams and you have to come back together as a team as Crimson Cliffs basketball? What's the chemistry like when you guys get back in a gym together?
I think it's still there. A lot of the kids on our team actually were on the same club team at Reach Higher, so that definitely helped. But we're like hanging out outside of basketball, so there's not a lot of chemistry missing out on.
Let's bring in Trev, the lunch pail, yard dog, man. Get it done on the glass, getting it done in transition. What have you worked on in the offseason getting ready for the upcoming senior season?
I feel like just being a threat offensively and defensively. I feel like last year I was a staple defensively for this team, so just keeping that going. I think making sure that everyone's in our spot, needing where to be. Losing 3 big seniors, me and Drake are going to have to step up and be very vocal this year, be leaders on and off the court. And I also think just finishing at the rim and attacking strong and creating for other guys is going to be big this year as we can space the floor really well with shooters.
Any individual goals?
One of my biggest ones is going to be leading region in rebounds and blocks. I think is something that I can do. Especially we lost a lot of size down low, so I just think punishing inside and making sure that I'm on the glass offensively and defensively.
And I always talked last year, Devin and I did a bunch of the broadcasts, and I'd always say Trevor's an underrated passer, one of the better passers in the region. I'm curious, I always look at the schedule. I always used to circle a couple of games that I thought looked interesting or that I kind of looked at for matchups. What's kind of the game early in the season that you guys are as a squad kind of circling? Is it there's some revenge? Is there some just anticipation? What game kind of meets your eye?
I'd say I'm excited for most every game. I think one game that's going to be big, that's always big for Crimson, is Desert Hills at Desert Hills. We lost that one last year, so I'm ready to go win it there this year. And I think I'm also excited to play Springville this Saturday. They have really good big and just really solid team, so I think playing them will give us a good look at where we're at and what we need to work on.
I had to check. Crimson at Desert Hills, January 31st. That's late in the season when you'll be at the Thunderdome. Let's bring in McKay. McKay, what have you been doing all offseason, man? How many shots do you think you get up on an average Wednesday afternoon?
Not exact, but I'm always just trying to stay more consistent with my jumper and be a more consistent scorer. But I've been trying to put on some weight so that I can, if I get switched, I can handle different positions. Just a bigger leader. I've been assigned as a captain this year. And I'm just trying to be more vocal, trying to be not just on the court, but off the court, keep guys out of trouble maybe. I don't think it'll come to that ever, but just trying to be a better leader.
Yeah, you take that serious. I like to hear that. When did you guys vote? Did you guys vote as a team and you were voted by your peers, or did the coaching staff just come to you and say, hey, you're captain, one of the guys we're going to look to for leadership?
First 2 were voted by players, and then the third one was voted by coaching staff.
I look at your football program. I see a lot of culture with Coach Wayne and Coach Stokes. Coach Murdoch's just second year, but have you guys already started to see the culture building for basketball as well, kind of like your football team has?
Yeah, I think that's the difference in this year. You can kind of feel it, this is the closest I've been to a team ever, and it shows, and that's what I'm most excited about this year.
How's the deep ball coming along this year?
It's better, but it can always be better, so yeah, I'm just trying to stay more consistent, I guess.
What's school like right now? I mean, you guys are gearing up for hoops. You guys are all fired up, but everybody's worrying about a football game in a couple days.
Yeah, it's awesome that we get to be able to compete like that every year in football. But for us, it's kind of a challenge that we're trying to become state champions. So we're the sport at our school now. But yeah, it's great, and it doesn't matter for us on Thursday. It's just one game at a time for us.
If the football team can win a state championship, go back-to-back, you guys get one, that would be pretty special for Crimson High School. McKay Lindquist with us. Let's bring in JJ for just a second over there. We don't want to make him any more nervous than he already might be, waiting to get his moment in to talk with the media here at our media day. JJ, you guys were picked number 1. Des News had their preseason poll. They picked you guys as the preseason favorite out of Region 9. What goes through your mind when you hear or see that?
I think we got to keep up with that expectation and finish at the top of the region.
I got one for JJ. So I got a chance to play with his dad
Okay.
for 3 years. Great competitor, super athlete. I got a chance to coach his big brother, Jordan. And so I'm just curious, what goes on inside the Eaton household? Like, where do you guys get the fire? Does it come from mom and dad, or is that just something you kind of learn, from big brother? But you guys tend to have another motor, another level of energy and kind of just excitement on the court. Where does it come from?
I think it's like from when I know I can't give it my all, I go out there and do it because I know that's what my brother does and my dad always give it their all.
That's a good way to summarize it. Coach, try to summarize the squad. It seems like this is a very likable group that you guys have high hopes for a great season.
Yeah, they are. Like again, top to bottom, they have great chemistry. They hang out with each other all the time. Like this is truly one of the best, best teams that I've ever coached. In a long time. So, and they just, again, you can see it on the court. They like each other. They're talking with each other. They make each other accountable, and that's what makes it a lot of fun.
Rotation early? Are you going to go 8, 9, 10 deep early in the preseason?
I have no idea. That's a great question. I think it depends on game to game situations, right? I mean, I would love to play 6 to 7, but if we need to go deeper, we will. It's just going to be based on the game situation that we're in.
Any other questions for Coach or the players? Crimson Cliffs Mustangs, everybody, getting our 2024-25 Basketball Media Day going here from Nets on Fire. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys by. Go get them fed. They probably need some lunch, and we'll see you guys Thursday night at home against Salem Hills.
Thank you.
All right, we're off and running. Stay tuned. Lots more coming up. The Pineview Panthers will join us when we come back. Back here live, Nets on Fire, home to our 2024-2025 Region 9 Basketball Media Day. And we appreciate the Boulevard, our title sponsor of Hoops on the Network here all season long. Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster, Ben Lindquist, our Fan Sports Network panel. And now joining us in the building, the Pineview Panthers and Coach Pat Amico. And Coach, let's start with you. And I got to give you some credit for this setting right here. You and I, way back in the day, we were the ones that sat together. I think we were watching an SEC Media Day one day, and we said we should start Media Days for Region 9. And here we are in 2024 talking about your Panthers.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and a lot of fun and what you guys have done, and then the Fan Sports Network to take it to a whole nother level. It's awesome, and what you guys do for these kids. It's all about the kids, right? I tell them all the time it's their story, and you guys help push that story along.
Panthers, high hopes. Give us a preview. How'd the summer go? Give us your thoughts on the rest of the region, how your team stacks up this year going into it.
Yeah, these guys are working hard. We lost 11 seniors last year, 2,000-point scorers, so replacing a lot, but these kids have worked every day. We just got done with two-a-days. I don't know how many high schools go through two-a-days, but we did two-a-days, and they've been working hard, but we're in a tough region. This region, anybody can beat anybody on a given night. The last couple of years, there's kind of been some teams at the top and some teams at the bottom, but this year, 1 through 7, it's stacked, and it's going to be a big-time game every single Wednesday and Friday, and with all the mess-ups to the schedule, Mondays and Saturday region games that we have as well.
So you lost 2 of your top scorers in the region from last year's seniors. Where are you making up some of those points in the roster that you have this year?
Yeah, we're doing it as a team effort. Last year it was a lot on Nash and Griff's shoulders. This year, I think we could have 4 or 5 guys in double figures, or someone leading us in scoring one night, and it could be somebody else the next. That's how it's going to have to be, more collectively as a team, and that's the way it should be, right? There's 5 guys on that court, and they can all put it in the hole.
Coach, your second season, what'd you learn in season 1? And also I wanted to ask you about your former boss. You coached with Coach Pope, who left BYU. He's now at Kentucky. What did he teach you along the way, and how has he helped you become a better coach now that you're coaching the Panthers?
I can't thank Coach Pope enough, right? He gave me my shot at the Division I level, and so happy for him to get back to his home. I remember talking to you when I was first working at UVU saying, this dude's going to end up at Kentucky one day. Like, he's that good. And then you see, obviously, they beat Duke at the Champions Classic, and he was nice enough to send me some gear, and after that I was rocking all my Kentucky gear at the school the next day. But, no, so grateful for him and that staff that I learned from, but also learned a lot in year 1. Not enough, right, because every day we're learning and trying to break down what we do and then watch it and then break it down again and then kind of put it all to use, and learned a lot, and hopefully it we're able to grow and get even better here in year 2. And like I said, these kids have been working hard, and that's the best part.
Coach, you mentioned the schedule, and I think a lot of people don't realize there's some differences this year. Walk us through a few of those. One being the season starting a little bit earlier and the season overall being shorter.
Yes.
But you mentioned a couple of the weird scheduling things. Walk us through some of those.
Yeah, so that's a two-part question. So the first part was the season being shorter, and they don't want to say this, but with boys volleyball and the gym being used for volleyball, they had to shorten the schedule by 2.5 to 3 weeks. They also, with Thanksgiving being later, and so it bleeds into December now, your moratorium, so your season was shortened. I mean, last year we had 12 practices, I think, before our first game, and now we've had, we did 2 a day, so it's a little different, but it's really 6 days of practice before games. So that really hurt. And then the ADs that do the schedule send out our schedule, and our senior night was the same night as the state semifinal. So the athletic director reached out and said, everyone schedule these games on your own when you can fit them in. And I was able to work with Coach Stout out at Hurricane, and we're playing a Saturday morning region game. And then Desert Hills at the end of the year, that one's going to be a crazy test for these guys. We have Dixie on a Friday, Desert Hills Monday, Cedar Wednesday, Crimson Friday, all before the state tournament. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable, but we had to cram in as many games as we could.
Yeah, I looked at that, and I saw Crimson had 3 games in 1 week. I think it was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. But what caught my eye is towards the end of the season, you could go 3-0, or in your case 4-0, and dramatically change your position in region, or you could go 0-3 or 1-2 and have that same kind of struggle. So kind of an interesting dynamic this year for the scheduling.
Yeah, and that's February, and I'm already losing sleep over that. So it's gonna be fun, but it's one game at a time. And we tried to schedule. I always joke with my AD, like I put together a schedule to get fired by, because we tried to play the best teams possible leading up to that.
Coach Pat Amico, everybody, 15-10. They were 4th place in Region 9 last year, 6-6, 500 in his first season. Coach, I'll give you the honor. Introduce the guys and tell me why you've brought them to represent the Panthers and the rest of the team.
Yeah, so we have Adam Moore, who's a returning starter from last year. Adam's one of our captains. We have Stratton Williams, who's our point guard and new to our varsity team this year. Caleb Schmidt started for us last year as a sophomore, and then Lucas Papa is one of our captains this year. And these guys will be starting most of the nights for your Panthers.
Let's bring in the players here. And Adam, tell me about the motivation after losing to Ridgeline last year in the 4A playoffs.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard loss. I mean, we don't want that to happen again. So we've just been working super hard, getting ready for the end goal, getting ready for the playoffs, just trying to not let the same thing happen this year and just go push far through the playoffs and, maybe win a state championship.
I got to ask you, did you miss playing football? Because you bagged football this fall, so I'm guessing you've been in the gym a lot more.
Yeah, I was definitely working a lot more this year than last year, so I'm excited.
So tell me a little bit about from last year to this year, what the difference is in your game. I know last year there was a lot of plays where you found yourself open to hit some big threes. I'm sure that's still a part of your game this year. What else have you been adding in the offseason?
I have the ball a lot more because we don't have National Griffin anymore. I mean, I've always had the green light, and, I'm getting more shots, looking to kick out to other players, just dumping it down to Papa or the big guys. And, just really knowing the offense more and moving around.
Let's bring in Stratton for a second. Stratton, you guys scored 64 points on average last year, but you just heard your teammates say you're missing 2 of the big scorers. As a guard on this offense, how do you keep that momentum rolling and average more points this year in a tough region?
I think for us to be successful, it'd be a lot of ball movement. And me as a point guard, I know to pick my spots, and I know certain guys that will make shots, and I can get the ball to them. So just trusting our teammates, and we'll make shots, and we're not worried about scoring.
Adam's jumper look good right now in practice?
It's looking great. It's automatic assist every time I get on the ball.
Do you have a goal on how many dimes you want a game?
I would like to be upwards 5+, but as long as we're winning, I'm not worried about personal stats.
So I love hearing a coach talk about his team. I think that's the ultimate kind of highlight for me. But it's fun to hear the guys talk about their coach. Adam mentioned always having a green light. What's one of the things that you guys feel as players kind of gives you that confidence to go out on the court and perform?
Our confidence comes from his belief in us, and he always trusts us no matter what. Sure, he's hard on us, but he wants us to succeed in the end. So, and all the hard work we've put in, it'll pay off.
Let's bring in Caleb for a second. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on?
You ready to go?
I am.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the season opener this week?
It's a 10 for sure.
All right. When you looked at the schedule, what went through your mind? Do you like the schedule, how it plays out preseason and into region?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like Coach was saying, all the Saturdays. We play on Saturdays. That's hard, but I like it. I like what we're doing headed into it.
Are you, as your parents, your siblings, is it basketball? Can I categorize your family as a basketball family, or you got some other athletes in the family?
You can categorize us as a basketball family, I would say.
High expectations for you. Do you have some individual goals you've set for yourself this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to score, but it's all about the team. Like, we have a lot of guys that can make shots, and on any given night, anybody's going to score. So it's not a lot of individual stuff. I'm just hoping to win as a team.
So last year, again, you were one of these that I think, at least for me, caught me by surprise. I'm like, man, this kid's really good at basketball. He's just got it kind of figured out. Taking your game to the next level year by year, how else are other aspects of your game developing, like your defensive stances, things like that? How's that part of your game come along?
I think it's coming along great. We've been working on defense a lot in practice, so I think that's one of our bigger keys as a team. We're going to be really solid defensively.
Let's bring in Lucas Papa here. How tall are you?
6'7".
6'7". Okay, so you're going to be one of the you're in the top 3, top 4 tallest players in the entire region. What do you weigh?
For sure. 175.
Okay. You got the protein shakes, you protein bars,
every
the creatine,
morning,
all that
every
going.
Morning. Yep.
You're from a basketball family too. Your sister Avery played at Pineview High School.
Yeah, she did. Watching her growing up was just amazing. So
take me through your thought process now that you're a senior and it's the final year. I mean, how excited are you to get out there and play?
I'm excited. We've been working our butts off all the time, all summer. So I'm ready.
I want to bring back to Coach for just a second, and then questions for anybody here. We got about 2 minutes left with the Pineview Panthers. You didn't bring Jelani Ojegba, but, man, he's going to be one of the exciting players to watch in the region this year. How's his game look as you guys get ready for the season opener?
Yeah, Jay's going to be a big part of what we do. He sadly had a test during third period today, so he's like, I can't miss this test, or else he would have been here with us. But he's going to be a big part. He's coming along a long way, obviously. An athlete that can score at all 3 levels, and we're super excited to bring him along as well. And I know he wishes he was here, but, they're student athletes. They have to take care of the classroom first.
Now, Dev, I'm a former Panther.
That's right.
Class of 97.
Can't forget it. Greatest Panther of all time,
A little
maybe?
bittersweet, but I think a little more sweet for me. Tell me about the new court and even new bleachers. They've done a kind of a whole new remodel at the real pit.
Yeah, so it only took 40 years. So,
Hey, and that's, by the way, that's not when I played there 40 years ago.
No, it's awesome. What RAD has done, and these boys have to hear it all the time, but, Paula Haas is the best AD there is. I've gotten to work at 2 universities, and she would run that place like no problem. She's amazing. So we got a new gym, new bleachers in, and then she took the old floor, the middle of it, and hung it up in the glass box as you walk in there. So there's a massive court right there in the middle, and she cares about Pineview, and she gets stuff done for these boys, and not just for these boys, but for all the student athletes at the school, and we're super lucky to have her. But the place looks amazing. You guys are going to love it when you come in.
There was a rumor about the court being a little off dimensions prior, and that was fixed with this new court. Is that true? I've heard these little rumors.
Yeah.
I want to know if that's true.
That is true.
I want to explain that for some of the misses I had over the years.
Yeah. So the hoop was still 10 foot tall, though, so I don't know. But the length on both sides, you could barely walk along the wall, and they just made our court and Dixie's new floor that they got a new floor this year as well, and they made it just as long as they could. They didn't have an exact dimension. So now there's room under the wall, and I was freaking out, like, what's wrong with the court? Was something wrong? But it was really our court before, so they had to go up top and adjust the hoops to move them over more. And
the court was too long?
Too long for high school.
For high school?
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
It looks great. You guys are going to walk in there. It's bright. What they did, what Paul and the district did, we can't thank them enough.
That's cool. Looking forward to seeing that.
Keep it rolling. Year 2, Pat Amico, thanks for bringing the guys in. And there's been some great coaches. Coach Lynn Christensen and Coach Walk and all the coaches that have been at Pineview. You got to keep that tradition rolling.
Coach
Good luck this
Eves,
season.
yeah, there's been some great ones, and we're going to try to keep it rolling.
All right. The Pineview Panthers, we're out of time. We could go on and on, but we'll have a bunch of Panther games on the Fan Sports Network this year. We'll take a break. Lots more coming up. The Hurricane Tigers will join us as our Media Day coverage on the Fan continues right after a timeout. Everybody, welcome back. High school coverage presented by the Boulevard, our title sponsor. And We're here at Nets on Fire, which is also one of our great longtime sponsors. And what a better place to have a basketball media day than here at Nets on Fire. You got the 4 inside courts here. They've done a tremendous job, and all part of that Be More complex. You got the roller skating, the rink next door. You got the grip downstairs, Intermountain Sports Performance as well. So we're here, we're live, and we're having a good time. Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster, Ben Lindquist, the Fan Sports Network. You're going to see us 3 doing a ton of high school basketball games this year. And now joining us, the Hurricane Tigers and Coach Stout in his second year, coming off a 7th place in Region 9. Wasn't the greatest year, but I'm hearing good things, Coach, about what you're building over there. And a lot of people say, watch out for the Tigers this year. Give us an overall preview of the difference between last year and this year, and give us an outlook for your team.
Well, yeah, just the time. These boys put in a lot of time in the offseason. It was great to, last year didn't get the job until late, and it was great to have a spring and summer to kind of gel, get them doing the things that we needed to do. And these boys played a lot of basketball, and including the last, 6 or 7 months, they've been putting in the time and putting in the work, hopefully to get to where we're equal with and competing with the teams in this region. It's just a brutal region to be in, and just the level of basketball, it just blows me away. The amount of time kids are putting in and what's required. But it's fun region. It's an awesome opportunity for these boys. But I'm just grateful that they're willing to buy in, and they're buying into the vision that we have and what we've set forth for them, and they're they got something to prove, but we feel like we're there. So
if you had to tell somebody about your team, how would you describe this group, your varsity players? I mean, speed, size, shooters, high basketball IQ. What would you say to people to describe this year's roster?
Well, we've got some speed for sure. Speed at the point guards. We've got some good size. Callan's a great rebounder. Ty's tough and physical, great rebounder. We've got some shooters as well, and some guys that can play defense too. So, I mean, just across the board, we feel like we're pretty well-rounded as far as having a balance. So.
I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces here. You're one of the teams that's returning a lot of guys to this roster. Does that help in giving you guys an advantage just because the chemistry is already there? Are you already seeing that come together now?
For sure. I mean, I think everybody else was really senior laden last year. We were. I'm sure that the youngest team with the most. So we're returning a lot of points. I want to say we're returning 45 points a game, give plus or minus. So. We're returning a lot, and so that's going to help us, and I think help us be more competitive. So,
yeah, I had fun watching you guys last year. I thought some injuries hurt you. Obviously, Jackman, that not having him consistently on the court early in the season was painful for you guys. But I always said when I called a Hurricane game, the amount of athleticism and the eye test, as we call it, was always high marks. So year 2, what's kind of the biggest thing that you're really focusing on? Obviously, you had those injuries we talked about and a down season last year, but I saw you guys play this summer, and I went, that's probably the most turnaround potential I've seen in the region for this year.
Yeah, I mean, what we've really focused on a lot with them is shooting and defense. So we feel like just a consistency, being able to put the ball in the basket is really hurt us. Just playing basketball, passing, catching, reading the game, all of those things are a point of emphasis. We just play a lot of basketball, and so all those things have improved, but especially a lot of shooting. I think we'll see market improvement there.
Did you guys do anything different this summer? Did you guys go to some tournaments? Is there something that you guys kind of mixed up this year?
We did. We played a lot of games. I think we played close to, between the spring and summer and fall, close to 70 games. So putting in the time, like I said, just trying to get caught up to where the region is. And so I think that's helped us a lot, practicing a lot, so all those things, just competing. So.
Really quickly, Coach, before we get to the players, we've got Callan Hughes, R.J. Hurst, Brigham Kemp, and Quinn Gubler. We want to get to the players, but the RPI, talk to me a little bit about, maybe scheduling the preseason this year and your thoughts on the schedule as it lays out for the Tigers.
So we've got a good path with the RPI. We like who we play. We play some pretty solid smaller schools. They're really solid. They're not ones we can just go chalk up a win by any means, So if we can squeak some of those out, we feel like the RPI will help us. We got a tough road trip up to Cache Valley. We got Green Canyon, Mountain Crest, and Ridgeline up there. That's going to be telling. We played them a little bit in the spring and the summer and played pretty well against them. So we think we've got a chance, but it's tough going to Cache Valley. And then, Kanab and Richfield, and again, two more really tough and highly ranked teams that it's just going to be a battle every time. So we don't feel like there's a game on our schedule that we can take off or that we can just chalk up as a win. So we're going to have to battle, but we feel like we've got a shot. So
let's bring in the players. Thank you, Coach. We can go back to Coach for some final comments in a minute. But, Callan, I wanted to go back to one of those teams from up north that knocked you out, Bear River. How much does that game and how close the Tigers were last year motivated you getting ready for the upcoming season?
Just the fact that we got to put in more time. We had, it was a close game. We made decisions that could have affected us betterly, but we overall could have played better.
So tell me a little bit about your off season. And again, Coach kind of mentioned there's a lot of basketball going on. How much basketball did you put in through this off season? And you're already kind of big kids. You put on a little extra weight as well to be able to hold your own down low.
Yeah, I put on a little extra weight. The games that we played over the summer were great. I went to all the tournaments. So,
how's RJ's jumper looking?
Great.
Let's bring in RJ. Take me through off season for you. Like, are you in the gym 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week? Like, does basketball ever stop for you?
So I started the spring. I played some soccer, so I missed a little bit there. But then once that was over, it was basketball probably 4 days a week. We played with the team, with the club, and then I tried to get in on my own and get as many shots up as I can, at least once or twice a week on my own.
Now, Hurst is a baseball name in southern Utah parts, but where do you fit into the baseball tree of the Hurst family?
That's different.
Family.
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay. So you're all basketball. It's your Hurst family.
Basketball, and my uncles, my dad, they've all played football too. My little brother plays football. I didn't this year. Well, I haven't for a while, but I don't play football.
RJ, I've heard Coach mention defense like 3 times. I'm guessing that's an emphasis. You guys gave up almost 69 points a game last year. What makes you believe you can do a lot better defensively this year?
Well, we've played a lot. We've practiced a lot. And, yeah, like you said, last year we gave up a lot of points. We scored well, but we gave up a lot. So I think this year, for us to be competitive and win games, we got to bring that number way down.
How much of a chip on the shoulder do you guys carry? Again, I know last season was a little bit of a struggle in region. Again, those injuries that you had. But how much of a chip are you guys putting on your shoulder saying, hey, we got something to prove this year?
Yeah, I mean, we all want to win. And playing younger, we were always competing, and then we got into high school, and it, slowed down. Teams started getting away from us, and I think it's starting to come back. We're starting to play together as a team and compete in every game. So I'm excited.
Brigham, do you have green light anywhere, anytime, you and RJ? I mean, is there no shot's a bad shot from Coach's perspective?
I mean, when he's hot, I feel like he can shoot whatever he wants, and every time it goes in. So, yeah, no, there's no shot that I'll be like, don't shoot that. So, yeah.
He's never got on you for saying that's a little too deep.
Get that mic up nice and close.
I mean, no, I mean, if he's hot, that's my emphasis to get him the ball, and I mean, it works pretty well. So,
are you going to be always man in the point, or are you and Quinn a little interchangeable, or what's that like?
It's mostly Quinn. I mean, it's interchangeable. Like, we're not too it's positionless basketball, but yeah, it's whatever. Who has it?
So you had some big games last year, and again, shooting is definitely a big part of your game, right? Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you're working on right now. Maybe some of those things that you're thinking, hey, this is something that I need to get better at.
Yeah. At the start of the season, I had an inconsistent 3-point, and I had to change my form a little bit in the off season, and just a lot of hours of just pitting work in and perfecting everything.
Got to get Quinn in here for a second or two. How much pressure is there on Coach Stout's point guard? Like, you're the extension of Coach on the floor. Tell me about that coach-point guard relationship.
There's kind of a lot of pressure just because he wants me to call the plays and everything and like know what defense we're in and everything. But it's pretty good relationship. He's helping me not to be too stressed about it and everything. So.
Is there a region team you're looking forward to playing this year that you've got circled? Maybe you got a friend on another opposing team in the region or something of that nature?
Probably Dixie. I think I played with Ammon on that team. He's on Dixie, and so I thought it'd be fun to beat them. So.
Do you guys all split up and play on different AAU teams in the summer, or you guys played all together?
No, we just played together.
Tell me about the speed of this team, especially you as the point guard. Do you guys feel like you guys are moving the ball quick, that you guys have some speed driving to the basket?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of speed on the team. We try to play at like a fast pace too, and Brigham he's really fast to get into the basket, and I think he can get there whenever he wants. So.
The Hurricane Tigers, baby. Any final questions for Coach or any of the guys? All right, Coach, thanks for bringing the players in. Guys, thanks for representing the rest of your team, and good luck this season. We'll have a bunch of Tiger games right here on the Fan Sports Network. We'll see you guys later. We'll take a break. Lots more coming up when we come back. Media Day coverage, Region 9 style, continues live from Nets on Fire. Welcome back here. Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster, Ben Lindquist. We've got the whole crew here today getting you ready for high school hoops. It's our media day. We're excited to have the Desert Hills Thunder join us now. And we've got Coach Chris Allred. We've got 4 players representing the Thunder: Ben Chase, Mason Rasmussen, Chaz Holbrook, and Jack Openshaw. Coach, we'll meet the players in a minute, but you know the drill. It's not your first rodeo. Give us an overall preview of the Thunder, this team. How'd tryouts go? What did you guys do this summer, and your thoughts on the upcoming season?
We're excited about this group. We've got great leadership. Our seniors and then our juniors that played last year, they've worked extremely hard since the end of last season. They've made an emphasis to get in the weight room. So the athleticism, strength, some of those things have drastically improved, which is positive for us. And then we've just spent a lot of time on skill work, and throughout the spring, summer, we tried to play as many games as we could. We learned a lot about ourselves in that process, and now we're just trying to kind of fine tune some of the things, make a few changes as we get into the beginning of the season and get ready to play.
Coach, you always seem to be competitive as a group. Is that something that's integrated into a culture? Is that something that there's just development all the way through from when these guys are starting off in middle school and freshmen coming up through the program? Where do you feel like you guys stand in your strengths as a basketball team?
Well, number one, we take pride in just playing hard. Playing hard and trying to make the right plays, being unselfish. And it's one of those things, if you want to get on the floor, you got to be willing to do certain things. We have certain things that are kind of non-negotiables. And these 4 guys right here are an example of the style and some of the characteristics of a Thunder basketball player that we look for. And so we look to have a competitive season. We're definitely not going into this thinking, hey, let's play for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. We're going to go get after it.
What kind of identity do you think the team will have this year? I know the region has lost a lot of size, a lot of seniors from every team in the region was senior laden last year. But what kind of identity is Desert Hills going to have this year?
I think we're going to be really good on the defensive end. I feel like years past we've always been solid there, and that's given us a chance to be competitive. So that's always going to be a mainstay for us, and that's going to be a central focus. This year's team is no different. In fact, this year's team, I think we have a little bit more latitude to do a few things different or in addition to what we've done in years past. Jack is a big guy, moves really, really well, and is just a big, strong, athletic kid. And so just gives us a few more options that we haven't had. And so we look forward to that on the defensive end. The offensive end, we want to try and push the ball and try to get easy buckets, but it's not very easy when you get into region. They're hard earned.
Coach, I'm just curious. I mean, you're in your 5th year. You were coaching the baseball team, and then you moved back to basketball. But how many years total have you been coaching high school at that level?
So this is like 28 years of
took a break, went
coaching,
to college
but
for a little bit.
I've coached football, basketball, track, boys, girls basketball. I've covered just about all of it. In fact, the other day, my wife and I were talking about how many seasons, and it's 40-some seasons of sports in 28 years. So a lot of fond memories of a lot of really exceptional young athletes and players.
I know they pay you guys a ton to coach, obviously.
Yeah,
what keeps you coming back after all these years?
That 5 cents an hour, and then, so no. Honestly, it's just the memories, the experiences, the journey. Coach Hokinson's one that always talks and reminds these guys about how the game really provides you those relationships with one another, and that lasts for a lifetime. So
I'm curious, you did lose Treg Holbrook, and Jordan decided to go to another school. Tell me about not having those two guys on your sideline this year.
Well, both of them, that's, big misses. Treg was, we loved his energy and his toughness that he brought to our team as well. So that's a big miss. And then Jordan, he made that decision to go play at Utah Prep, and felt like that gave him an option to, try to further his career and play against some really top-notch competition. We obviously wish him the best.
Well put. Let's focus on the guys you do have. Let's meet the players representing the rest of their team. Ben Chase, let's start with you, buddy. Don't let this baby face kind of kid you. This kid can absolutely play the game of basketball, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good. What's been the focal point for you getting ready for the upcoming season?
Kind of as Coach mentioned, I'd say a lot of it is weight room, just kind of stuff, getting more athleticism, kind of putting on some more mass, just get stronger.
Who benches more, you or Mason?
Oh, Mason by far.
Who benches more, you or Chaz?
Chaz and Jack, yeah.
Okay. So you had to get in the way.
Yeah.
I'll put my money on Jack.
Yeah.
There is an emphasis in the weight room every year in every sport, like a lot more than when we were all in high school. How excited are you? And is there a certain matchup in the preseason that you're really excited to play? Maybe you know a buddy on another team that's on your schedule this year.
I would say probably Canyon View. We played with Ty Attic was on our team. What was that, 2 seasons ago? So yeah, definitely Canyon View.
Okay, well, outside of Canyon View, you do have a big region schedule ahead of you, and I know that Crimson Cliffs always seems to be kind of a rival for Desert Hills. Does that stand true into this upcoming year for basketball?
Yeah, for sure. Always excited to play Crimson. It's always tons of fans. It's always an electric game and a lot of fun for sure.
I always appreciate a shooter, but when he's a lefty, Dev, I always appreciate a lefty as well. You were one of the contributors last year. Obviously, you had some great games. We called a couple of those. What are you looking to elevate this year? Like, what's the next step for your game? Obviously, you're a great shooter. Are you implementing a couple of other things? Is it rebounding, assists, scoring at the cup?
I would say definitely kind of just playmaking, trying to get downhill and finding those open kickouts because we got some really good shooters. So
let's bring in Mason for a second. Mason, I've been kind of asking this, but I'm just curious. The mentality going into a season when you lose to a region foe, you lost to Dixie in the second round last year. How much has that game fueled you in the offseason?
I mean, no one wants to lose to someone in region, so I would say it's just like any other region loss, and we always want to bounce back from that. So ending last season off on a loss like that, it just motivates us to go even farther this year.
Quick question. Who do you emulate your game after? Is there a pro or a college player in the game that you like to watch on YouTube or whatever, Snip Snap?
I wouldn't say there's like a specific player I like copy, but I've always been a fan of Steph, so I kind of just work on my shooting.
Big Duke fan like Pops?
Yeah, for sure.
I got some young guys this year.
Yeah, Cooper Flag.
Yeah, Cooper Flag fan over here as well. Might as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your guys as a whole. There's a decent amount of guys returning to this team. Do you feel like you guys are already starting to click this early on in practicing before the season started?
Yeah, I think we got a really special group, and like our chemistry is just there, and we're all like committed towards the same goal. And I don't feel like there's really like an ego. Like we're all like committed in this together and
we're working towards a common goal.
I'm going to ask Chaz. Now, I've had a chance to coach both Jack and Chaz, so I'm going to give them the hard question.
Okay,
here.
I like it.
Okay.
Coach isn't going to like this one as much, but there's the perception that Dixie's a little down this year. They lost a ton of scoring. I mean, that probably one of the better seniors classes in all region, maybe history. Is there a little bit of a target on there? Like, there's some revenge in the region a little bit. Like, this is the time to maybe get Dixie. This is the year to pay them back for a couple of years of beating up on everybody.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, Dixie's always been a great team, and they'll always have a good program. But especially losing to them in the second round, you always want to come back, and a win would be very nice.
He's politically correct. He's got his political answer. He's got a future in politics. Nice response.
I got a question for Chaz. What shoes you rocking this season?
Shoes? I don't know.
Hold on. Season? You mean which games? He's probably like got them set out for the game and the season.
Well, right now, just the Kobe's, the Mombasitas, those Kobe 4s. I love those. The Kobe 6s, the reverse Grinches. Probably just those two, and we'll see if Santa brings anything. So, Santa.
Jack, does Chaz have the best shoe game on the team? Is it even close?
I don't know. He's definitely up there. I'm not sure. I couldn't, off the top of my head, I couldn't name someone who competes with him. So Jordan was pretty good, but he left. So
I actually got one, and he's right here. So this dude has a ton of shoes in his arsenal. So Ben, yes.
Okay. How many shoes in the closet, Ben? Have you counted them?
I actually have a lot.
Get the microphone.
Here, give me that microphone.
I have way too many basketball shoes.
Is there a number?
It's probably over, just basketball shoes, probably over 20.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
No, if he's not a true sneakerhead, if he says I probably have too many, there's never too many for a real sneakerhead. Chaz is like
I'll let
20.
Your mom hear that.
Yeah.
You work hard for that money in the off season. Jack, hey, a lot of bigs graduated. Big Sean's gone at Crimson, and Lemke's gone at Dixie, and kind of looking for kind of that new big to step up and take over that power role in Region 9, and your name keeps popping up. What are your thoughts on the upcoming season?
First of all, I'm super pumped for the season. I think this year is my shot to kind of show everyone what who I am. Like, I'm a big guy, but I can really make a difference. And but there's also other really good bigs out there that I'll 100% be competing hard with every game, and I'm excited. I think I can make a statement this year for sure.
Is Coach going to let you extend outside the elbow to that 3-point line?
Every now and then, but I'm making plays through the post. I'm making plays for myself and for my teammates. That's my job. So,
and I had a chance to coach him in the summer. A great passer, a really underrated passer, able to see that weak side if there's a double team really well. I know you played a little bit of football, but what made you kind of go, okay, this is basketball is where I want to give my allegiance?
Well, I've always played basketball since I was little, so I think it's just always been my sport. I've always been a bigger kid, so people are like, play football, and I enjoyed my 2 years playing it. Never regret it, but I don't know. It's just something about the main thing I love about basketball, especially at Desert Hills, is just the guys I play with. Never had more fun with a group of guys on and off the court, and I want to commit all my time to this team and try to do the best I can.
Well put. Jack, Chaz, Mason, Ben, thanks for coming by. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys by. Final thoughts for Coach as you guys get ready to go. You got games coming up. How's the schedule look? And we'll see what happens. You guys were picked in the Des News poll 3rd in the region in the preseason poll.
Well, the games are coming quick. This reminds me of my days coaching baseball, where it was literally you had tryouts and then it was tournament, and no looking back. And so this is good. And honestly, a lot of teams we put a lot of time in off season, so it's not like we're starting from scratch. You obviously as a coach would like more time to practice, but we're looking forward to get going and practice or play against somebody other than ourselves and see where we need to improve.
The Desert Hills Thunder. We're out of time. We got to go to a break, but lots more of our Media Day coverage coming up when we come back here on the Fan Sports Network. Don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate some of our great partners helping you watch and listen to our Media Day coverage. People like Nets on Fire, where we're hosting from here. as well as Appliance Wholesalers Plus, Jersey Mike's, Bucks Ace Hardware. We got so many great partners, and you're going to hear and see our local businessmen and women all season long. We got a full slate of high school hoops coming here on the Fan Sports Network. But in the meantime, we got another team to preview the upcoming season. Ryan Ball and the Snow Canyon Warriors have entered the building. And, Coach, if we can, let's start with you. And me and Ben and Caden will fire some questions at you, and then we'll meet the players in just a minute. But give us an overall preview for the Warriors.
Yeah, we're excited about this year. We've got a lot of new guys stepping up. We're going to be fairly inexperienced in terms of varsity experience. We're going to be fairly young. We've got, I think, probably 13 or 14 guys that could legitimately see the varsity floor this year, which is something we didn't have last year. We played 7.5 or 8 last year. Some nights it was 8 and most nights it was 7. And so I think that this year's going to be a good growing year for us to do that. But I think we want to be a team, basically our style, what we want to try and do is be a team that when you look at your schedule during the week and you're like, oh crap, we have to play Snow Canyon this week. Like, we want to be that kind of team where we're getting after it. We're playing you really hard all game long, especially on the defensive end. And that's what the identity that we want to have this year. And I think we're doing that in practice. We're competing. I mean, we've got guys getting hurt in practice because we're just going so hard and really pushing each other, and they're being really competitive, and we want to carry that over to our games, especially as we start this week.
So you talk about a little bit of depth and a lot of players. What does that look like when you start the season? How many guys are you expecting to bring into varsity here in the first few games?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
Can't put a number on it.
It's real.
Tough,
Here's the thing. I think it's a good thing in a lot of ways because I think a lot of these guys, and these guys know, like we've told them that there's guys behind them. There's sophomores behind juniors. There's juniors behind seniors. There's sophomores behind seniors that are competing for minutes. And so every day in practice, I think these guys are aware, and they've shown us that. They're like, hey, I'm fighting for minutes every single game, and everyone knows that they've got to earn it. And so I can't even tell you how many players. Like, we could legitimately see, like I said, 13 or 14 guys in the first couple games. And I think especially early on in the season, that's what it's going to look like. Like, there's probably going to be a lot of guys that can play, kind of see where our rotation ends up coming around towards the beginning of region play. But I think it's a good thing because it does show us we have some depth. But that's going to be kind of one of our things we've got to figure out is who's going to play the hardest for us and who's going to do what the coaches ask.
Now, you did lose a lot of seniors this last year, but tell me about some of the guys that you have, including the 3 that you brought with you.
Yeah, I mean, last year we were very senior heavy. I mean, we played 7 guys basically, and 6 of them were seniors. One of them's our, returner Reggie. He was a sophomore last year. He's kind of he was our unanimous captain this year, and these 2 are our other captains, Niels and Cade, and these guys bring great leadership. These 3 are going to be, basically very different players in terms of what they bring. Reggie's our floor general. I mean, he's the guy that's going to kind of get the offense going, and he's got the varsity experience. And we played in a green and white scrimmage that we had, our kind of game against each other, and he kind of showed that he had the varsity experience, and it was great. Niels is a guy that's just like he's very coachable, and he's probably our best all-around shooter, like the guy that we want to be able to be a threat on the floor and be like, hey, you guys got to guard this man because he's going to knock down threes for us. But he's also just a very cool, calm, and collected guy, which is nice. He doesn't really ever seem like he's flustered. Cade Lannon is our athletic beast. I mean, the guy, I think, legitimately is a guy that if he wanted to, he could be a dominant player every single night. And so we're looking for a lot from him too, because he can really impose his will on both ends of the floor. And so we're looking for a lot of leadership from these 3 as our captains this year.
I'm curious, what did you learn in your first season as being a head coach? You're a young head coach. You guys go into the playoffs. You're 17-8. You were 9-3 in region last year. You upset Dixie before losing to Cottonwood. What did you learn through that whole process?
I think first and foremost, and I think my wife would agree with this, that I'm just a happier person and more pleasant during basketball season. I love basketball season, and so I'm a lot nicer at home, and I have such a good time, and I just feel like I'm happier because I love hoops so much. But also, I mean, it takes a lot of prep for these things, I mean, and I think even more importantly is having a really good coaching staff. Like, I mean, I was doing club before high school, and finding good coaches is really hard. I mean, that's I think the hardest part of being a head coach. But when you have a really good staff, it makes your job so much easier. And I think I have the best staff in the state. I mean, I really do. I love my staff. They all bring different things. They're very, very smart, and they all kind of have their own little ideas that I really like. But I just think having a great staff is so underrated, and our staff just all puts together all of the game plans that we have, and we all work collaboratively, and it's really great. And I think that's really important, is to be able to use your coaching staff. And then also, the last thing too is, I mean, I try and do this, and I've tried to be better with it too, but like taking input from your players too, because they're the ones on the court. I mean, we see different things than they do, but also there's times where they're on the floor and they're like, coach, like my player's playing me this way, or they're doing this, or I think we should do that. And like, I got to be open to that. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes they're right, and you got to be able to listen to them. And I think it helps them understand a little bit more too. Like, hey, you know, coach is not an authoritarian. Like, he's just someone that helps us and guides us and gives us plays sometimes, or, you know, can motivate us. And we're the guys doing the work. And so it's really them. Like, they're the ones that are winning the games. They're the ones that are, you know, really executing the game plan. And that's what we saw last year. It was all about them executing the game plan.
Life without Owen Mackey, what's that been like? I mean, he was one of the exactly.
You got Reggie Mackey. You got another Mackey. It doesn't matter.
We've got Reggie. We've got Niels. We've got Cade. We've got Joe Max Smith. We've got so many different guys that are going to compete this year. And obviously, when you lose, you know, a big time player like Owen Mackey, someone's got to step up. But you just do it by committee. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's a lot of points to be had. He averaged 26 points a game. Could have been 35, but that's not what the kind of player he was. And so we've got guys that will step up and make up for that 26 points. I mean, really, like, you got to move on, and everyone's going to say, well, this year we did it with Owen, or last year we did it, you know, whatever. It's a new team, and it's fun because you can do different things, and that's what's kind of cool about high school basketball, right, is almost every year you kind of have a new group, and you have to adjust your game plan and adjust your offense and adjust your strategy to that. And so we're excited for this year's group. I mean, last year's group was good, and it was a great team that I think had a ton of potential, and we showed we were 3 points away from making the state title game. We're looking to get just as far this year and see what we can do, and it's going to be a different way that we get there, but I think we still got a high ceiling.
So speaking of the guys, let's go to Reggie, the son of the little brother of Owen. We've heard from a lot of the coaches about how anybody can beat anybody this season, right, in this region. A lot of seniors graduated. I think, man, we had you guys had 7?
We had 7 seniors graduate.
We had 7.
Yeah.
Pineview had 11. Crimson had 5.
Class.
I mean, Dixie had 12. I don't know. They probably didn't have that many. But how do you – yeah, it felt like they had 12, right? How would you describe the opportunity this year in the region? I know you guys have lost a lot, but if you're going to lose a lot, this is the year to do it, right?
Yeah. I think one of the main things that Coach Ball kind of mentioned to us in the beginning of the season was, like, on our team, we could have 6-7 guys that can all put up, 10 or 12 points for us, and more importantly on defense, like, that's what's going to get us there. Is we're going to work hard on defense, then we'll translate it to the offense.
Niels, I heard Coach say he wants to get you shots. That's what I heard from Coach Ball. Take me through kind of how many shots a week you're getting right now and through the summer and into the fall season.
Trying to go shoot every single day. Like, just want to be there for my teammates when they pass it out to me. I want them to know that I'm gonna make it. Like, I want to be there, and yeah, just trying to get lots better.
Do you like it set? Do you like it off the bounce? It doesn't matter.
I'm trying to get better at all of them, so none of them feel different. So
how do you identify your game? Would you say you're kind of a 3-and-D kind of guy, or do you feel like there's a broader aspect to your game?
I'm trying to bring in the jump shot right now. I'm liking the jump shot right now, but yes, I like to shoot threes a lot. So.
Who's the quickest on this team in practice? Who's hard to defend right now?
I don't know. It's probably Reggie. Reggie's the quickest on the team right now. We got a sophomore. His name's Troy. Troy is also another hard one to defend, but I still think it's Reggie.
And then Cade, I know you do have at least one football player on the team, Joe Mack. He brings some muscle into the paint. You guys banging for boards down low in practice so far in fall camp?
Yeah, for the most part. We're really working towards, like, our defense and really just getting the boards, crashing the boards. Like Niels said, like, the 3-ball for Niels, I love the corner 3 from Niels. I can just get it, kick it out, and I know that thing's going in. But, yeah, for the most part, me and Joe are going to be crashing boards a lot this season, so, yeah.
Now, we did lose a lot of big guys from last year from across the region. So tell me about the battles down low that you're going to face this year. Do you feel like you can be one of those that's a little more competitive against some bigger guys?
Yeah, I've guarded big guys a lot, so I don't really know how to guard, like, the huge guys, but, we're going to fight, and so it's going to be a lot this season as me and Joe fighting down low, and, yeah.
How was tryouts? I mean, was it a grind with the depth it sounds like Coach has with all these guys pushing other guys at each position? Like, you guys, sounds like you're making it tough on Coach right now to divvy up minutes.
Yeah, we have a ton of dudes that'll, like, if we get tired, we can sub right out. And yeah, we have a ton of dudes that will competing for minutes, and so it's going to be really interesting this year, like the rotation, but it's going to be good. We have a lot of dogs on the team, so yeah.
Let's go back to Reggie for a second. Reggie, how valuable was it last year getting experience, and how is it so much easier this year now that you've tasted varsity and played a lot of minutes?
I mean, just being comfortable with having the spotlight on you. There's only 10 guys on the floor. Each of them are going to touch the ball every possession most of the time. So, it really helps being comfortable in those situations where it's, high tense moments, getting to the free throw line, being able to knock down those free throws. I mean, it does help having experience like that, but these guys I know are for sure able to step up and be able to get in there.
How fun was it having that one season with your brother last year?
Oh man, it was awesome. It really was. It was cool to be able to play with him and kind of learn from him. Maybe translate some of the stuff he did last year into my game this year.
I'm curious, what's the one game that you guys are really looking forward to? I love hearing from the players because it's been different. We've asked this question a few times, but it's always fun to hear what game you guys kind of circle on the calendar and the schedule.
For sure, Dixie.
Dixie.
It's got to be Dixie. I'm actually excited for our first preseason game on Friday against Springville because we know they have lots of talent. They have some big kids, so let's see how we can handle those tall kids.
Ask the big fella on the week. He's gonna have.
Can't wait. Me and Joe are gonna give it all we got, but yeah, it's gonna be a good game. But also for me, it's gonna be Crimson because they're looking good this year. So it's Dixie and Crimson for me. So.
What is it about Dixie? And the coach is like, I don't know if we want him to answer this, but what is it about Dixie that is it just their winning that everyone's like, I'm circling that one. We want to beat Dixie, and you guys have done it probably more than anybody the last couple of years.
I think like playing Dixie for me, it's just kind of fun. I don't know why the style they play. They're pretty fun to play, and like just how they're coached, and it's always a really tense matchup with us. And maybe there's a little
good crowd. And
oh yeah,
Coach Roberts, like you said, their style really is kind of a fun style to play in an environment and up and down. Good answer.
Good stuff, guys. Thanks for coming in, representing the rest of your teammates. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys in. We're going to have, just like all our region teams, a ton of Snow Canyon Warrior games here on the Fan Sports Network. And sounds like the guys are making it tough on Coach Ball to set the rotation. We'll find out a little bit more about that when they play their season opener against Springville on Friday night over at the Jungle. We got to take a break. We're not done yet. Lots more coming up when we come back on the Fan Sports Network for our high school basketball media day coverage. Stick around. Welcome back here to Nets on Fire. Gracious enough to host again another high school basketball media day live on the Fan Sports Network. The panel today, Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster, Ben Lindquist, and we're excited to be with you here for a couple more teams. We got Cedar and Dixie still to get to, plus our preseason polls and the combined media and coaches polls, plus our preseason player of the year. Who will that be? We'll see. We'll tally up all the votes when we're done here in just a bit. But first things first, welcome in Coach Monks and the Cedar Reds making the trip. Always appreciate, Coach. You got the furthest to drive. You're going to be driving down here all winter long playing Region 9 games. So thanks for getting the kids out of school and bringing them down.
Thanks for having us. They're excited to be here, and just nice to have the opportunity to showcase these kids.
We'll talk to the guys in just a second, but you know the drill. Let's start with your thoughts on the offseason coming off last year, where you guys went, what tournaments you played, and to give us a preview for the Reds this year.
Yeah, we had a busy June. I think we played 3 or 4 straight weeks. We were in Salt Lake. We were down here, played in a couple others. Just keeping these guys busy. We had some guys leave, and these guys have stepped up, and I'm excited for the opportunity to showcase these guys and what they do as a team. They really want to play together. They don't care who scores. Just what they care about is the outcome. And so I'm excited to see how that translates for us this season.
I'm curious, you said you had some guys leave. I heard 3 or 4 guys moved away. That's got to be, as a coach, a little bit frustrating, right?
It is what it is. I mean, they feel like things are better somewhere else, or parents took a job somewhere else. It is what it is. I'll take the guys that I have, and I know that they're loyal to us and they want to play, so we'll keep them.
Tell us a little bit about the opportunity in the region this year. I know you guys had a little bit of a down year for Cedar standards, but it feels like there's a little more opportunity in the region this year to have it be anybody's season.
Yeah, so you look at it, you don't go into it as just there's this one team that you feel like is going to run away with it. I think every night's going to be a battle, and it's just going to come down to a couple of possessions, I think, every game. And so it's who's going to handle those the best, who's going to handle the pressure, and who's going to be able to play.
You guys have always prided yourselves on teamwork. Is this a really unselfish team? How would you describe this year's unit?
Very unselfish, and they know their roles. I think that's huge going into the season. It's not something we have to figure out by game 10. They're going to share the basketball, and if they understand that it might not be their night scoring, they can still play defense, they can still rebound, they can still do that stuff to help a team and not be focused on what it says in the box score for their points after a game.
Now, you did say, there's obviously always going to be some shifting around between one season to the next, but who are some of the newcomers that we're going to see that will start to make an impact right away?
A couple of you'll see Cooper Payne going to come in as a senior for us, going to play a lot of big minutes. He just is going to be a tough guy for us. Ty Rowley, he'll be a junior. He's going to play a lot of minutes for us. Trevin Carter, Nixon Prisby, Jackson Green. You saw a lot of Taylor and Hayden last year, but we just have a group that, like I said, they're excited to show what they can do.
Let's bring in the players, and we'll circle back to Coach for some more questions in just a second. But, Hayden, how much does having that experience and some minutes last year help you coming into this season with a lot of new faces around you?
It was great. Just being able to lead everyone and show them, how things work, and being able to, just be the guy to ask questions and to answer those questions is really great. And just helping everyone out.
Is there pressure on you being a point guard for Coach Monks? I mean, is that an easy thing to do? Is you're the extension of him on the court?
I wouldn't say pressure, but it is a big responsibility being the coach on the court and being able to run the offenses and being able to lead everyone on the court as well as being off the court.
Now, being that you guys are up in Cedar, and I love asking you guys this question because you guys are in a unique experience where there can be kind of a crosstown rival, but they are not in your region. Do you guys look forward more to playing a team like Canyon View, or do you look forward more to playing in region play?
Region play for sure. Although they are a crosstown rival, I think that playing in the region is just a way better experience, even if it's cross far drive.
All right, speaking of schedule, I've never seen this in all of my years of following Region 9 basketball, or Region 10 for a year or two. But have you guys looked ahead and seen the schedule where you guys play a couple of times? Let's see, 2, 3, 4. First part of January, you have 3 in a row early in the preseason. But have you seen some of the region scheduling where at the end of the year, there are a couple teams that have 3 and 4 games in a week? And have you had a chance to look at that yet?
Yeah, it's coming quick. That's all I can say. It's really fast. There's a couple region games before the Christmas break, and it's going to be.
I would think as
experience.
A player, I was thinking as a player, having more games and having them quicker and having them be in the season a little more compact would probably be more fun, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go to let's go back to Coach for just a second. Coach, do you like the schedule for the Reds this year? What's your thoughts on the schedule?
I mean, I like the schedule. I made it, so I have to like it. But no, it's crazy. I mean, I was talking at our parent meeting. Usually we have our schedule done mid-May, right? And it was a month and a half ago we were finalizing stuff, because the state came down, cut our season a week on the end. You're saying, but you can play 23 games. It's like, where do we do this, right? And so it just made it a little tough. My wife told me in March I couldn't schedule games the weekend of December 14th because we had some family stuff. So I knew that was well ahead. So that also took a weekend out. So that made it tough. But, we'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere. And so as soon as we had that planned out, we said, hey, we'll figure it out. But, no, I think it turned out good for us. Obviously you look ahead for the RPI. Who's going to be good? Who's going to win games? Who can you go compete with? And if you get some of those, it really helps you. So trying to just position yourself there too.
I want to go over to Cooper here for a second as well. Cooper, tell me a little bit about your game here and some of the stuff you've been working on in the offseason in preparation for this upcoming year.
This offseason has just been big about getting back into basketball for me. Been playing a lot this summer. Coach Monks has been good about showing me what my role is, what's expected of me, and what I need to do. I need to, how I need to help out my teammates and give them rest and just contribute to the team. He's been good at showing what I need to do.
Coop, I'm curious, who's hard to guard in practice right now?
I might have to say Taylor. He's got the size. He's the only one that's got the size on me, so Tim, and I think Ty Rowley's a hard one for me. He's a quick little guard, and when I get matched up on that, that's a tough one for me is Ty Rowley.
What's going through your mind there, Taylor, when you heard him say your name?
I just like to hear that. It's like really reassuring to hear a teammate say that, you're doing all this and you're doing really good. It just really helps me feel good about my game.
Taylor, sticking down with you again. We kind of talked about size there with Cooper for a second, but being the big man out on the court, tell me about kind of your mindset going against some of the other big guys here in Region 9.
I kind of have the mindset like I just got to be more aggressive. I just got to go out and do it every single game. I already know our region's really competitive, but probably bigger than me. So I just got to go out with that mentality that I don't care if you're bigger than me. I don't care what people say. I'm going to go out there and play my game.
Are you 6'6"?
Yeah.
With shoes on or without?
With shoes on.
Okay.
And I would think this would be the year with the loss of Lemke and Feltz at 6'10", 6'11". I mean, there's open shot, Desert Hills. Other than that, I mean, Crimson, I think their biggest guy is 6'5", maybe 6'6". I don't think they have 6'6", but
you're probably top 5 biggest in the region. Is that what
I'm
you're
going to
getting
say,
at?
I think he's going to have a real advantage this year with your size and some experience. I think a guy to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Taylor, how easy or how hard is it getting ready for that first game? I know you're anxious. I know you want to play a game. You get tired of banging on your teammates in practice, but take me through like a Coach Munt's practice. Is it fast paced? Is he stopping and coaching a lot, or is it pretty fluid?
Well, we always start out with usually film, so that's pretty calm. We go over like what we're going to work on for the day, but then we hit the floor. It's usually pretty fast paced. Our idea is that if we go pretty hard and we get like a game feel, we'll be ready for the game. So we've been doing a lot of that, going really hard in practice. And you said, talking about getting ready for Richfield, right?
Yeah, sure.
Probably going to watch some film on it, yeah. And
says, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's about it.
Is there a rivalry with Richfield, Coach? I mean, they've always got a pretty good squad.
Oh, they got a really good team.
Well coached.
They got a really good athletes right now. You look at what they've done in football the last couple of years. Basketball has been the same. This is actually the first time we've played them in basketball for a couple of years. I think there's been 3 or 4 years off, but everyone says Richfield's just a 10-year younger Cedar, right? And so I'm excited for that game. Coach James is excited. It'll be a good one to tip off tomorrow night. It feels fast though with tryouts last week, and we play. This will be our 6th practice tonight. And so
Coach James, a former Red as well, right?
He is, yeah. So bringing him into town and bring those guys with them. Excited just to play. So,
Coach, I'm looking at the schedule. The last 6, and we've made this comment off camera. Really kind of interesting how compact that. You mentioned it there that they cut a week and a half of your season out, but still have 23 games. And so you look at these last 6 games. You go Dixie, Hurricane, Desert Hills, Crimson, Snow Canyon, Pineview. And what's so interesting about that is, boy, you could go 4-2 there and move up 2 or 3 spots in the region. Have you identified that and went, okay, we have to have a big finish that end of the season, or are you not looking that far ahead yet?
So I haven't really looked that far ahead. The nice thing when they did schedule or cut us the season, we talked about, hey, how can we fit some games? We were able to fit Hurricane on a Monday where we have a bye Friday and a bye Wednesday, right? We didn't end up with 3 region games in a week. I think we kind of lucked out there where some teams I know do. They play a Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
We even have a Saturday this year.
Do we? I haven't looked at that one.
Pineview's playing who, Deb? I think
it's Hurricane.
Yeah, I think they're I think you're right. That or Desert Hills. They're playing them on a Saturday. And we have a Tuesday game.
We play Dixie January 2nd, which is during the Christmas break, which is it's tough, but it's region play, right? And so every game's going to be the same no matter if you played them at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, wherever it's at, the intensity's there. So, no, we haven't really looked that far, but, every region game's a big one. So if we can get 4 or 5 out of that, whatever the stretch is, we would love to. So,
Hayden, real quickly, how big's defense going to be for you guys this year in this region? I mean, you guys did give up 67, almost 68 points a game last year. Has that been an emphasis so far in camp?
Yes, so defense is one of our gold standards that we have. Defense is huge in all basketball, and being able to give up less points would give us more room for success with our scoring as well.
Is it high volume bucket makers on this team, Hayden? I mean, are shots falling left and right in practice right now?
Yes.
I can say yes.
Got to keep that rolling.
I can say yes.
Hayden Key, Cooper, and Taylor. Any other questions for the guys or for Coach Monks?
Yeah, Coach, just real quick. Tell me about the excitement. You guys ready to go?
Oh, absolutely. These guys, I think, have been itching to go for a couple of weeks. You know, Hayden texted me. He's like, I'm just so excited for this season to finally be here, get done with open gym, get ready for practice, go through tryouts, and play somebody else. And so we just want to see what this season brings, and I'm excited for this group. Like I said, they just play so well together, and I think that that's something that's really hard to coach. That comes from them and their relationships they build. And so I think some special things can happen if we can continue to build on that.
Do you feel like you can kind of be a sleeper this year a little bit? A lot of people are going to pick you probably down in the region. Is there an element of surprise in some way, shape, or form?
Oh, I think so. Anytime, we saw the Des News preseason poll, we'll see what it looks like when this one comes out. But, I mean, we can be picked at the bottom. We're okay with that, right? We can tell we're coming, right? These kids are ready to play, and they're not scared of anybody. So I'm good with that mentality.
That's a great comment to end on. The Cedar Reds, everybody, here inside of our basketball media today. And glad all the seniors, 3 other seniors on this team. We didn't get on the camera, but you'll be seeing them on the court. Guys, great job representing your teammates. And, Coach, thanks for coming all the way down from Cedar City to join us.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, the Dixie Flyers will join us when we come back. And then we'll get to, as Coach alluded to, the preseason polls right after this timeout on the Fan Sports Network. Not done yet. One team still to get to, and that is the Dixie Flyers here inside Nets on Fire for our 24-25 high school basketball media day. Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster, Ben Lindquist here on the Fan Sports Network, and we've got Coach Roberts and the Flyers in the building. And, Coach, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Another season. Here we go.
That's right.
Bring us up to speed. Give us an overall, catch us up through the offseason, the summer, and give us a preview for the Flyers this year on the court.
Yeah, we've had a great offseason. The good thing is about these guys, they've always just stayed together and played. Even with AAU type stuff, they've all kind of been on that same AAU team and just been able to travel around, and then also obviously doing all of our high school stuff as well. Going to Arizona was a lot of fun. That Section 7 tournament is just just the experience to let these guys go and have that is honestly one of the best basketball tournaments in the country. So that was a lot of fun, and then obviously the Great Western Classic as well.
7th year, you've been the head coach. It seems like just you and Coach Cuff were here yesterday, but it's been this is the 7th season. Obviously undefeated, 12-0 in region last year. How is this team different? You guys lost all those seniors. How is reloading going at Dixie High School?
I think you're exactly right. It is reloading. I think with this group, they played against, in my opinion, one of the best teams in the state last year, and that was every single day at practice. And I think by having that experience, even though it wasn't like game experience, I think just playing against those guys every single day and learning from them, it's always been fun having Kyle just trying to, get with the big guys and trying to work them out and, teach them a few moves and that kind of stuff. And of course, Tyson played with us last year as well, quite a few minutes there. So just, having that is a key.
So, Coach, tell us a little bit about some of these newer guys that you have, because you did lose a bunch of seniors this last year. So you got some new guys coming in to replace them. Who are we going to see? What names do we have coming at us soon?
Yeah, so obviously Tyson, again, he was with us, a lot of our games last year, a lot of playing time. Zed Weber, who has been in our program for quite a while now. And then obviously Kimball Carter, his brother was Grant Carter, and his dad's on my coaching staff as well. Been a part of the program. Then J.J. Davey and then Tyler Walter, 2 other of our other big guys. We have 7 seniors. There's M.J. Worth and Elijah that also just come in and grind and do all the little things. And then just a few of our underclassmen. You've got Ammon, who's over with us now, and then you have Colin Simmons, and then Mac Howard. Mac Howard actually is a sophomore who's been playing phenomenal, and his body looks good, and he'll be ready too.
You guys have led the state the last couple of years in scoring, and you've usually had like a 6 or 7 man rotation. Is this going to be a different Dixie team and style, or are you going to stick to a close rotation, or are you going to expand early on here in the preseason?
I think we'll expand a little bit, definitely preseason, just to give some of those other seniors, an opportunity as well. Again, like I said, our other underclassmen are really good, and so we'll just have to see kind of how that goes, and then maybe we'll tighten it up a little bit once region hits. But I think they can all offer different things, and I think it just depends on what we need, which is valuable to have guys that we can, if we need height or just some nastiness on defense or somebody that can shoot it. So we have all those other options coming off the bench.
I think one of the things that maybe people don't realize is that these guys have set the standard in the summer on how many games that a team plays, right? They're playing, I think one year you guys played over 70 or something like that.
I think it was 82 that one
82
year.
one year. So
it's an NBA season in the summer.
Yeah, really it is. But, so they've really set the standard. What's been interesting today is that we've talked to each of these other teams, and we've kind of all in different ways said, what's the team that you're looking forward to playing the most? Would it surprise you to find out that Dixie was the team that everyone kind of circles on the schedule? Is that a compliment, or do you use that as a little bit of fodder to fire up the guys?
No, I think it's a compliment for sure. I mean, this region, again, I've said it from day one since I had the coaching job, all the coaches are prepared. The region's phenomenal. I still think we're one of the best regions in the state for sure. And I think our region's proved that, over the years. And I would say it's a compliment. I think these guys have put in the time, and, to have that confidence to know that, that we can compete with anybody is kind of what our goal is every single year.
Let's bring in the players, and we'll circle back to Coach Roberts for some more questions. The Flyers with us here inside of our Media Day coverage. And Tyson, it's got to be the biggest green light in town for you this year, right? There's no shot Coach is telling you right now not to take.
Sort of. At the same time, yeah, that's what I've been told a lot. Coming in from last year being the only junior that really played, it was kind of like being told, like, it's just going to be you. But, as the summer's gone on, like, we've realized that, like, we got two guys here that can score. We got two guys, back there that can score too. So it's not really just me. We got guys that also can do stuff.
Tell me a little bit about this team now that, again, this is a totally different look as a varsity squad from what you had last year. But again, a lot of these guys, it's not like you guys haven't been playing together over the years anyway. So tell me what it's like already at this point in the season as you're getting ready to launch things off. Is there some chemistry that is already clicking with you guys?
I think for sure. I think as it's come along this last couple months, we've been playing a lot more together. Chemistry's been a lot. This year it's a lot different. We're way longer than last year. We got a lot more size. We're above rim. Like, we'll be playing, we got length, and so I think it's going to be a lot more fun, honestly.
Tyson, what's it like in practice trying to replace a Kyle Lemke down low? 6'7", 6'8", can run that alley-oop, can post you up, box you out, rebound machine. I'm hearing a lot about Colin Simmons. How's he looking in practice, trying to fill some big shoes?
Yeah, Colin's looking great. He's super young. He's very raw. He's got a lot of potential. Even Tyler Walter, no one's really seen him, but that guy can jump. Like, even JJ, they both are, like, our blue and white game last night, like, we've got a couple dunks, so it's a lot of fun playing with them. We got oops, so it's a lot of differences because Kyle could jump, but, like, we've got athleticism now too. So
what's the shoe game this year? What are you rocking? You got a couple different shoes you're gonna be wearing during the season?
I actually just got a notification that my Kobe's got in here. So
okay,
got a couple of those. So.
Is Coach gonna break out the Travis Scotts again this season at all at any point?
He better.
You going with Bruce Lee and do something different this year? Or are you doing a team shoe, Coach?
Do anything they want. Every year it's up to them, whatever they want to do.
I like it.
Let's bring in Zed. How did Coach do the captains this year? Obviously, you guys are some of the upperclassmen leaders. Did he assign you guys captain roles, or did he let the team vote for that?
Yeah, the team voted on those. So.
It's good, man. In the off season, you been doing some hunting?
A little bit of cow hunting. It's kind of fun, but I didn't really dry out this year, so.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. His dad takes care of that for the family. He's got them banked for a couple of years. I'm curious. So we've asked everybody else, what's kind of the game that you guys circle on the schedule? I'm curious what the hunted will say in this one because you guys are the hunted.
As far as like preseason goes, that first game, Springville, they're a great squad. I'm looking forward to playing them. And then as far as region goes, I'd say, Desert Hills, Pineview, Crimson. Just anybody.
It's a good region. I think that's what Coach was alluding to. To me, it's kind of like the SEC of high school, right? You have so many good teams. I think this will be a year that I think there's going to be a lot of parity from 1 to 7, really.
More like the Big 12 in hoops. The Big 12. How many?
That's fair.
How
That's
many ranked
fair.
teams are in the Big 12
Yeah,
right
that's
now? I
fair.
think there's 7 in
That's
the top
fair.
25.
I was talking more football.
I know
like
you were.
SEC,
I know you
where
were.
everyone, it's like
We still have our football hat on. We've got that game coming up Thursday night with the Mustangs in the state championship. Make sure you tune in if you're not by a television set. Let's bring in the other Flyer here representing the rest of the team, Kimball Carter. Kimball, is your game similar to Grant's, or are you your own player? What would you describe your game as compared to your brothers?
I mean, I'd say, like, he's my brother, so I play similar to him, but he was more of a guard and I'm more of a point guard, so I don't know. I bring the ball up the court. He didn't really get to do that, so.
What about shooting? I'm curious. Who would, if he was sitting right there, who would be winning the 3-point shootout?
Right now, probably me, because he probably hasn't touched the basketball in a while, but I don't know. He was a good shooter, so.
I want to bring Coach in for just a second. Coach, who had a better spin move? Between these two, they both got that spin move, right?
Yeah, Grant would do the spin move and finish. Kimball will do the spin move and actually dump it off to one of our bigs. So a little bit different that way.
I love it. I love it. But you got a big basketball family. You guys eat it, live it. I mean, did you guys ever turn basketball off at the Carter household?
I mean, not really. Just me and Grant played basketball her whole life, so.
Mom never says, stop talking hoops, boys, and shut up and eat your meal?
She's the one that talks hoops.
Oh, okay. Okay, the truth comes out. How excited are you guys, like you and Zed, where you didn't get as many minutes last year, to have an integral part of this team? And what's that mean to you, seeing the tradition that Dixie High has in hoops?
I mean, I'm really excited. I think we have a good team. We can do some stuff, but, yeah, I'm just really excited. I think we can be good.
What is the most competitive aspect that this team is going to bring into games this season? Is it defensively? Is that where you're stout? Is it three-point shooting? Where do you feel like you guys are really strong?
Like Tyson said, we have a lot of length. I think defensively, like rebounding, I think we can definitely do well there. We also have some good shooters. Zed and Tyson can shoot really well. So,
Tyson, was there a little bit of maybe an eyebrow raised when you saw the Des News had Crimson picked preseason poll ahead of you guys?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's not like a cockiness, but it's out of confidence. I mean, but I kind of like it at the same time because, I mean, last year we were, projected 1, but, I mean, going into this year, everyone thinks we are down. But, I mean, throughout the offseason, like, we win games, we play good. Like, so I think it makes me happy because now I guess we kind of have a more target on our back because everyone thinks we're down and now it's the year to beat us. So,
Coach, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's –
everybody's got to be picked somewhere at the end of the day, right?
I think especially early in the season, I don't think it really matters. There's so many of these preseason games that are going to start, determining where guys really fall. But I don't think – I mean, I personally think the region champ this year is going to have 3 losses. I think it's going to be – I think it's that wide open. Every team's got a lot of talent, and I seriously do. I think it's going to be every game's going to be just tough.
Do you think it's going to be more run and gun, not as many – bigs? We don't have Sean Phelps. We don't have Kyle Lemke in the region anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I just know that basketball is trending that way too. A lot more 3-point attempts. But yeah, I would say yes, that it's definitely going to, be more up and down.
And I think what's going to be interesting is that end of the season. I've talked to about a couple of the other teams. That last 6 games of the region is so compact, and you look at those matchups, it's so intense that I think you're right. I think it could even be 3 or 4 losses. That's how competitive the league is, and I think that end of the season is going to be probably the most intense Region 9 finish because, look, to your compliment and to your credit, Dixie the last couple of years, the last week of the season has not been as interesting for the guys like us because Dixie's, you've been undefeated, you've been, well in position. This year I think is going to be really interesting. Do you?
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I think it's wide open. And I think that's what's fun about it, right? Is every single game you can't take a day off, right? Every coach is prepared, and we just got to do us, right? We got to focus on us and just keep grinding. And if we do drop a game, we're focused on that next game, and just take one at a time right now and just continue to get better. This is a team that I honestly feel like they actually remind me a lot of the 2020 team when we won it, personality-wise, and just I don't know. There's a lot of similarities there, but I think our goal, just like that year, was try to peak at the end, and I think that's a huge part of high school basketball because we all know it's definitely hard to win it, but if you can put yourself in a position to win it, then just go play.
Tyler Roberts and the Dixie Flyers. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys in. Best of luck. We got a ton of Flyer games all season long on the Fan Sports Network, and we'll see you guys out on the court. Good luck this weekend against Springville.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us.
All right, we got to take a break. We're not done yet, though. When we come back here live to Nets on Fire, we'll get the preseason polls out. We combine the media with the coaches poll, and then we'll also give you the preseason all-region team. That's coming up when we come back. All right, that was fun. Welcome back, everybody, here on the Fan Sports Network. Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster, Ben Lindquist. High School Basketball Media Day almost in the books. Guys, while we're tabulating all the preseason awards, final thoughts. Ben, I'll start with you. What stood out today?
I think just about the parity in the conference. I think there's a lot of opportunity for these teams. I think historically we've looked at Dixie High and thought, okay, it's going to be Dixie. I think this year is going to be different, and I think Dixie also understands that the target's on their back, and they got a lot to prove, and that might be refreshing for those guys a little bit and Coach Roberts. But 1 through 7, I think this is going to be the year that, unlike in past years where 1 or 2 losses is what you needed, I think it could be 3, 4, and I hate to say it, but it could be even 4 or 5. That's how much parity there is this year.
Caden, what about for you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the parity comment. That is definitely one of the biggest things that I'm seeing here. But, from a year where last year there was a lot of really good basketball and a lot of seniors that moved on, we're just seeing a lot of new faces. And I think that's really exciting for me, is just getting to know these players. Every year in and year out, it seems like you get enough that move on. You feel like you're comfortable. This year, I'll say that there's a lot of teams that I am going in so blind on, because there's a lot of great new players that we just don't know yet.
We're going to have to do our homework early to make sure that we're able to call these games.
I think guard play is going to be really good in the region. I think who's the dominant 4s and 5s? I think there's some unproven big men in this region. I think guys like Jack Openshaw, maybe Colin Simmons, the junior, maybe some of these guys can make a name for themselves, but we really haven't seen a lot of them yet.
Yeah. A lot of opportunity there as we lose Lemke and Sean Felt, who was a giant down low. I think we're going to see what Caden's talking about, though. A lot of these new faces that are going to have an opportunity to prove themselves and really secure and extend that legacy of Region 9 basketball.
Bold statement. Nobody's going undefeated to win a region title, and nobody's going winless. That's what I'll say. I think we had both equations last year. I don't think that will happen this year with the parity Ben you were talking about. All right, let's wrap it up here. Live from Nets on Fire. Appreciate them for hosting us for our media day. All the coaches and players for coming and making their way over here to join us on the Fan Sports Network. And thank you for watching or listening. Caden, our preseason player of the year is Tyson Forsey. Your thoughts, the Dixie Flyer. He was an integral part of that team last year. He was on almost every single ballot, and he was almost unanimous.
Yeah, where the region was led by so many seniors last year, he was the one junior that really stood out above the rest when it came to people that were going to be coming back this next year. So he really was far and away the most voted as being the number 1 player coming in for Region 9 this year.
And Ben, you've seen this kid play a lot. You like his game.
He's a great shooter, unlimited range, great athleticism, creativity, and confidence. He's a great player. And no surprise that he's the preseason Player of the Year.
Yep, preseason Player of the Year, Tyson Forsey, Dixie High School. The rest of the first team, if you just took the top vote getter on everybody, the media and the coaches' ballot, the rest of the first team would be Drake Carroll, Ben Chase, Adam Moore, Hurricanes R.J. Hurst, Snow Canyon's Reggie Mackey, and Hayden Key from Cedar City. That would be the rest of your first team preseason.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a great list there. And again, heavy in the guard play for sure, but that's kind of how this region's being built right now.
We'll get a story out on St. George News. We'll get the second team and all that, but we're running out of time. We got to go. Ben, Caden, a lot of fun today. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts here as well, just to throw this out. Crimson is the number 1 voted team in our preseason poll as well, so I think they're going to be probably the team to beat right now.
I think we're in for another great Region 9 basketball season. I can't wait to call it with you guys. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a ton of games on the Fan Sports Network. You mentioned Crimson. They were picked first, Dixie second, Desert Hills was third, then Pineview, Hurricane, Snow Canyon, and Cedar. For Caden, for Ben, for Nate, for Paulie, you guys, thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you in a gym real soon right here on the Fan Sports Network.